what's unique about Manchester and Salford? There's very few cities in the world. You actually get two cities right on top of each other, and very few cities in the world where one city does not completely dominate the other city, but completely overtakes it. But somehow, and Manchester's an amazing city, and it's a world city now, but Salford has completely retained its identity. And what I'm interested in you, Ed, as a big champion of Salford, what would you say that identity is?
Well, since my earliest memories of growing up was, you were taught how to fight, and it was that was the first thing. It might have changed now, but I don't know if it has, to be honest with you. That was it. You had to learn how to defend yourself. And there's that story I used to say, the Romans took one look at Salford and they said, fuck that. And they stayed the other side of the river, Irwell, and that's why it became Camp Street, because they camped there. And I think that's probably, and it's the same years ago, if you're in a band, as talking about it with Mike Sweeney, and if you say you're from Salford, they're like, don't want them on. So there's that, and it's probably people like Mike Sweeney, and then before him, who had that reputation, and so you're always up against it. So it's, that's one side of it, and then it's retained we're really proud, and it's amazing all the big things that happen in that tag Manchester. It's always a Salford head behind it, pretty much. It is. I mean, it's so we're just kind of we've got chips on our shoulders from the minute we're out, and we've got something to prove, because we're always, and it's a good bit of banter, Salford and Manchester, but it really is. We're going uptown. Once I cross that bridge, it's as if I'm going into Coventry or no different. It's Coventry's a city, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit unfair of a comparison, but I do feel like I'm leaving my city, and I'm aware no matter which part of the border I leave, whether I'm going through Wharton into Bolton, or from Odsal into Trafford, I'm aware of it, that I'm not, and I remember as a kid, I used to be glad when I get back into Salford.
So that's interesting you mentioned Bolton there. Is this thing that Salford has with every town? So, from Bolton to Leigh or Bolton to Wigan, yes, there's differences, but does it feel more different from Salford to Bolton, Salford to Manchester? Is this something very uniquely Salford to be this independent?
Yeah, it is. It's like, obviously, I think there's certain areas of Manchester that are really twinned up with Salford. In the same way, Liverpool is more twinned up, parts of Liverpool with Salford than parts of Manchester. But places like Miles Platting are very Salford. And then Teeter Mill is pretty much Salford. But then if you go to Charlton, it's a complete new world.
But that's more because they're more working class, more estates. But the cultural difference is different. The accent's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, yeah.
I know in Liverpool they've got Bootle, which is a smaller version of this situation. They have a slightly different accent there because they were originally Welsh. There's something really fascinating about the Salford accent. That thing when the lickle, hospital, and that thing saying K's instead of T's.
Keckle.
Yeah, it's amazing. Where does all that come from? Is that something is it got stronger as well as or weak or watered down?
It has. It's now I've mellowed out a bit in my older age, and then you look at certain the precinct where I grew up, and I've never made it and bought a big house now, but I feel like I've changed a bit. And then when you go back to where you grew up and you see the poverty, and then it kind of jolts you, and it looks great, Salford, but there's so much poverty. And when you see the stats, it's hard to get your head around because you can't see it because it's all hidden. But it exists, and it's 1 in 4. And so the festival this year, we really come home as a social gathering festival, and the people we've had involved and behind the scenes, and highlighting all the great work that goes on. And, the council, our council are radical. We're not part of GM. We're nothing to do with GM. I mean, it's like the festival. I got in touch with the GM streaming crew, right? Tried everything, completely blanked. And the truth is, they didn't want us to do it. And we've done it anyway. But we thought, well, surely we can borrow that thing there, which is they're using and is being run by Salford Uni. And they totally blanked, and it's a political thing. I'm not like, it borders with paranoia, like everything when you want to do something and you prevent it. But I couldn't believe it, and I thought, wow. And I'm trying not to swear now because there's no point, but it did piss me off. But we've done it anyway, and we've done a brilliant job in involving. We're not posh, and it's been great, and the feedback from like last night. Amazing. And we were chilling out a bit today with DJs, and it's got, as I said to Paul before, Soul Music Festival, it's got that real festival feeling. I did my gig last night, and you get really angry and that. So, and it was cut. There was a mistake with the edit, and I was a bit well, no one else knows it, but it was as if I'd been on a gig, and you get a bit frustrated and that, and that's a good thing. And everyone's enjoyed it. And then today, the second day, it's like, you get to Glastonbury and you're buzzing, and that the first night you get off it, and then the next day you're wandering around like, all right, what you do. And it's got that feeling like everyone's just milling about today and enjoying the music. So yeah, I mean, we are really, I'm rambling on a bit, but it's dead important to me, the social aspect of it, of including people. And I never listened to, like people have said, oh, how can I get on? I said, you've got the PDF, all the info's in there, and can we make that? And I said, well, just give them the PDF, we'll send you a mix. I said, I don't want to listen to it. If you think they just play, we ain't got time. And it's never been about that. And it kind of works well.
Yeah.
We've had some great stuff on, yeah.
I think it's amazing what you've done there. It's helped create a separate identity for Salford inside Manchester now, as a city, is one of the 10 major cities in Europe, and that's great because it gives us all a space to operate in. We never want to lose these little identities or these big identities that exist within the area. But do you sometimes feel it's important to be Salford and Greater Manchester at the same time, or do you think it's Manchester's inside Greater Salford?
Oh, definitely. I think like places like you should be the capital of Manchester. When this new term of Greater Manchester, no one in Oldham benefits. You know what I mean? They're forgotten, and that they don't get anything, and I don't even know the other boroughs, but I don't know. It's like this illusion they've created, and I don't know who benefits or who it's for, because I can't see it. So the places I know town are all like still there, but they're all independent. They're like living as a separate state within this state of Greater Manchester.
So would be that the main problem that you and your fellow Salfordians would have with this thing, that it's very Manchester orientated? It all goes into the centre of Manchester and ignores everywhere else. It's not so much cultural, it's more financial, or just plain old fashioned getting ignored.
Yeah, I mean, I think like all the new builds in town have killed it. Like, years ago you could go uptown and you definitely bump into someone you knew. And now it doesn't happen that. And I know cities evolve, but the spirit for me is gone. I love Manchester, and I love going uptown and having a beer and stuff and seeing my mates and stuff like that and the characters. But it's finished. There's no soul. I don't think there's a little bit, but there's not. Even in the northern quarter, it's gone. And it's great, I suppose, all tourists coming in and it's kind of like Amsterdam was 20 years ago, when you get there and there's loads of us lot carrying suitcases down the street and that, there for the buzz. That's what Manchester's like now. Every weekend, people from all over Europe, or was, which is great. But there's no, and no disrespect to Sacha Lord, but he doesn't represent me as the star of Manchester, Greater Manchester nightlife, or any of my mates that I know have got venues and do events. It's like a little clique, and we're not part of that. We tried to be nice and say, can you help and that. I did nothing at all, but we've produced something here. Me, myself, Paul Ashton there. And we've got a team of people helping who are like, wow, it's nothing to do with money. It's just a drive and what we've created. And I stepped back the other day. I was listening to Hooky with Janice Long, and it made me think, wow. And then I looked again at the lineup and I thought, have we done this? And it's a cracking lineup, and it's not like, at festivals, it's always the same lineup, isn't it? Mm. And one good thing with the COVID thing, if there is anything, is, and I think I posted on your Facebook when you said it when it first started, and I hope it does change, and then it allows the ones that never get in the elevator a chance to get in the elevator, and do a gig, because it is going to change. Whereas, like, if your name's not down, you're not getting in, and oh no, it's bad reputation. We don't want them. And it's like almost one booker booking for all the festivals in the UK now. And if you're not, don't know anyone. I always say, if John rings Pete and Pete rings Paul, it's as simple as that to get on a festival. And so I think, like with ours, we just try and, even people that have pissed me off and done me wrong, I still let them on and that. And, you know, I don't mind me, you know. One guy moaned and he said, oh, you didn't ask me and Dave. And I said, well, what do you think I do sit here going through? I said, you know, there's the form, fill it in. And then he did. He submitted some stuff, and it was old stuff. So Paul said, he submitted two, and he played today. And I think, you know, a lot more, you shouldn't judge people, you know what I mean? There's a great difference of music, and if it was down to me, I've never chosen music because it'd be crap probably anyway. Probably boring, you know. But,
that's one of the things I love about what you do, and it's kind of the spirit of what I've always had to do as well, I guess. It's that DIY thing, innit? If everybody's ignoring your culture, you just go and create it yourself. You don't. The thing I learned from punk rock, which I'm sure is what you learned from punk rock, and your old mate, the late Mark Smith, learned from punk rock, is you don't need anybody's permission to make art. You just go and make it, and make space to do it. And this is what you're doing here, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's you know, it's great. You know, I mean, I've got loads of new mates. Do you know what I mean? You know, you've known me long enough, and I know who my mates are. But all of a sudden, I've seen something like, oh yeah, he's my mate and all that. I'm thinking, wow. And people, but it started, funny enough, with the track "A Fellow." When we put that out the other month, people's opinion of me changed, and I thought, well, we've always done all right music, but it's weird, isn't it? You can do something, and then all of a sudden, people are like, all right, you know, he's not that bad after all. I'm thinking that's a bit cheeky.
I just want to butt in there because I think I've always been interested in what you've done, and you've had some good moments. But that Othello is a genius track. It's a big jump up. You know, it's one of the best tunes that's come out this year. So I think that's probably what's changed people's idea of what you do. Before they thought this guy's good, he's done good stuff, he works hard, gets things going, he's bullshit, all the great northern things. And then you suddenly turned up with a track that should be, it's got a buzz going, but it should be massive, that track.
Yeah, I mean, and it's nice, and you know, I've always felt maybe it's a Salford thing up against the grain. And Sweeney was saying the same, you know. We have this chip on our shoulder because you're always held back because you're from Salford, and I'm really grateful, you know. It's like I've done a lot, I've achieved a lot, but yeah, and the timing of it's a bit odd, but the track's odd. So it does. So I don't. You know, I love to live in the minute now. And my son quoted me the other week and said, you know, he grew up with me saying, you're always as good as your last gig. And it's like, well, if this is my last gig now, Jesus, what's next? You know, but it's great, 51. Don't smoke anymore. Like, you're really healthy. And part of the festival as well is about people's well-being, mental health, you know, because everybody's took a knock. And so we've included all the groups, you know, and I don't mind being open about mine, you know. I've really been suffering in that with stuff, with this and before and stuff, and I'm in a better place now, you know, and it's good to talk about it. And music and creative stuff, arts, you know, we've got a lot of spoken word stuff on, and poets and that, which we've got pretty much everyone, I think, you know, that is everyone, and a couple from out of town. So
these are themes that maybe I could probably hook up the Salford thing again, in a sense that for me, place like Salford always had a really strong sense of community, looking after people. And even though when we're northern men, we don't really give much away, but there is a community that will look after you if you fuck up in there. And also that thing that's always annoyed me, that most of the great art from this country has come from places like Salford, but it's much more difficult for those people to get heard now. And so part of what you're doing here is giving a voice to the people that aren't listened to in this country, isn't it?
Yeah, and it, you know, like you say, if you're ignored in that, you just go and do it yourself. And there's nothing better, is there? There's nothing better, you know, I'm on the BBC in a bit, and it's like not played any of my records. Do you know what I mean? all of a sudden, all right, then, you know, I'll do it and that. And Janice Long, I mean, I know Janice through just my tunes, and she just got to like him, and then I met her at Mark's funeral for the first time, and what a great friend now she's turning out to be, and she's a proper legend in, you know, I remember as a kid, and she was championing new bands, wasn't she? That's how she got her break and got a gig on Radio 1. And you know, you've, you know, it's got to pay respect to you because you've been around a long time, you know, and I don't, you know, if it wasn't for you and that night inviting me to your gig in Berlin, then we probably wouldn't have done a fellow and all the rest of it. And that was because of your kindness and you saying, yeah, Ed, you know what I mean? There's a good base here for you, and this person's all right and that. And, you know, you've done a lot. You've done a lot, and I don't think you get the proper respect you deserve. You know, it
doesn't mean
it's the mixture, because you got, you know, your journalism and that you're great at, yeah. But you know, I remember seeing you at was it FomFest when it was all like Wind Madness and it almost got cancelled. And what band was it you was with then? Was that the Membranes?
Probably Gold Blade, I think.
Gold Blade, yeah.
Yeah.
I said to you, that was no, genuinely. And I always think me, you know, when I say, you think you might think I'm taking the piss or something, but I'm not. It's brilliant. And I remember seeing you in town when they opened something for like the Olympics or the Commonwealth, and Tony Wilson was on it, you know. Yeah. So I think, like, you know, you deserve a thing, yeah. And it's a shame you've not been able to play, you know, because I was hoping you could have.
There's two reasons. I don't really like doing my music acoustically. And also, I don't want to take. I feel a fraud. I'm a middle class bloke from Blackpool. You're doing a working class festival in Salford, and it should be what it is. It should be in its culture, you know. Yeah.
No, you dispute that. You fit, but you didn't catch our set last night. Then we didn't do. You know, the best thing that ever happened to me. I left my acoustic guitar in the studio in Berlin in March. So that was a good thing, because the suicide rate would have been a lot higher had I been playing every night. I think that's been really sad to watch, actually. It's people with reputations like that, and it's like, what are you doing, you know? Give it a break, like keep a bit of it.
Trying to work out how to do it electric and more intense.
Well, we just booked Dingo's studio.
Yeah.
We went in there, and we were all socially distancing and that, and it was great. We hadn't seen each other since we got off the plane, March the 5th. We don't talk to each other in the band. They're great. It's only me and a drummer that talk. And we just went in and smashed out 5-6 tunes because I couldn't do it acoustic. You know, it's like, but I appreciate it. The ones that are going out the window this now, innit? No, we appreciate them, but no, I would have loved to have seen your band like full on and
we'll do it. We'll do it another time. Yeah.
Next year. So yeah, Paul, get them booked in. Membranes or Gold Blade.
Well, we live all over the country. That's always been the other problem as well. That you can't get everyone into one place. But I'd be happy to come down and play with other people.
Yeah. So your band now. I mean,
I've got it in the diary now. Just you know.
Yeah. No, your band, John. What's the average age in that of your band?
50, 58, 57. I'm the oldest. I'm 59. Yeah.
And you know, you really like look after yourself, and that I've wandered off a bit, but that's what we want to get across in this festival is about, you know, you don't have to drink and smoke and all that and take drugs to be a bit of a character. You can still be a character. You don't have to drink. You don't have to take drugs and get yourself ill. You know what I mean? And you're a shining example of Mike Sweeney's another one. You know what I mean? Of like looking after yourself, like you run every day, don't you?
I was just running through Salford this afternoon.
Well,
so if I go about half a mile, I'm in your city.
Yeah, well, are you still living in Hume then?
Yeah. I'm right by the Millennium Arch. You know Hume, don't you? You know the bridge. The bridge. I live right by it. So
yeah, I think I don't.
Look out my window now. I can see Salford. So. Yeah,
I don't want to slag the GM thing and that. I know we're supposed to, but you know,
no, but I think
our council's different. Our council's really radical. Like they seen this coming, and there's a meeting and it kicked off, and our council just sort of like walked and did their own thing, and executed a plan, and that has really helped. And the stuff that's gone on beneath in all the groups and organisations under CVS and all that, how they've all got together and they've all worked it out and they set up the Spirit of Salford thing, the network, and really, I've seen some of the stuff, and that's what inspired me to get this going this year, was because I thought we've got to do something and give something back, because it's been great. You know, I know loads who've benefited from it.
I think the North has always been about doing stuff despite the odds, you know, right from day one, hasn't it? You know, the history of these cities, this area is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've really gone out of our way to support all these groups and stuff. And if people don't like it, it's like, well, go and watch something else. You know what I mean? It's like this is to include everybody. I mean, I sound a bit. Tell I've had a glass of fizz in the park before I needed one. But no, you know, love Manchester and great Manchester thing. But you can't take over an area from another area. You know what I mean? You have to let that area self-govern itself, really, and then maybe have a meeting once a month. You know what I mean? Not try and say, right, you know, I'm Andy Burnham, I'm king of 10 boroughs. Well, you're not. You know what I mean? You're from Lee, which is fair. You did great in Lee, but you know, Salford's different. And I mean, good luck trying to manage 10 boroughs of Manchester.
It's a set up, innit? I don't think any other city is made up with 10 cities all don't think they're in the same city.
Yeah, and it is different, isn't it? It's like, you know, the people in Oldham don't get anything, and Rochdale, they don't. Years ago, 80s, it used to be all right, Rochdale.
I remember where Cargo Sweet 16 when it was up there.
Yeah, and now you sort of like don't hear about it because it don't quite fit the whatever it is, this new plan. But I'm really proud of our council and all the work, and our new mayor is really radical in his team. You know, and they're not afraid to go out on a limb and stuff. And I think like this, you know, they've been great with us. They really appreciate what we've done, me and Paul and everyone else involved, you know.
So do you think part of what Salford does is reminds Manchester of what it really is? You know, it may think it's a highfalutin 21st century city, which it is on one level, but in its heart of hearts, Manchester is still Salford's scruffy little brother just over the river.
It is. And I think what proved that is how many Mancunians actually sit on the board. Because there's probably not many, is there? You know what I mean? There's not many. At least most of us are born in Salford. Not that you have to be, but it helps, I think, if you know the area. You know, and it's just the modernity, the way it's all come in, and you know, new apartments and that. You know, I hope that this horrible tragedy makes people in power think, actually, you know, and instead of easy saying, well, we'll write a letter. I mean, if that's all you have to do, write a letter to London. Why don't, you know, I used to like Derek Hatton. Derek Hatton, you know, to me, he wasn't popular, but he was good and he represented his people. And it's like, if you've got something against the government, then instead of writing a letter, why don't you just take control? Because I know if I was in office, I mean, I won't last 2 minutes, would I, as an MP? Let's face it. You know, I'd be banned and arrested, but they should do a bit more. And it's probably, unfortunately, you know, we sort of had this conversation before this broke when you posted something and I said something. And unfortunately, probably nothing will change in that sense, and that's sad. But I hope it does, you know, like you know, the clap for the carers. I mean, it's a joke. You know, £8 an hour and all that. You know, they should all get behind the you know, the national minimum wage, the fair living wage, you know, instead of just going on about it. And why don't they implement it, you know? And I know our council will do that. You know, and only things like that will change society.
Yeah, you know, to me, that's not even a left-right issue. It's a moral, human issue. You know, it's the person who works in a hospital or loads a shelf in a society is as important as a footballer or a pop star. And that's what most people hopefully have learned from the virus. That David Beckham's actually completely useless when there's a virus on. But the person who's driving up the M6 2 weeks into the virus and all the food from Manchester and Salford was far more important. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully things will change and that. You know, we can only live and hope. I just like get on with stuff and don't pay attention anymore.
That's how you make the change. You make the change by putting events on like you are, connecting people together. Say, look, you should go meet that person over there. Go and do something. That's what another great Salfordian, Tony Wilson, was brilliant at, wasn't it? Connecting people. I mean, I think he was connecting you in this city about 20 years ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, reluctantly.
No, well, no.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, you know that story, don't you? So we submitted a tape and we got on, and I was like buzzing, and it was in Belfast, and then they got a phone call saying, no, you can't play because of your name, Trigger Happy, and I absolutely flipped. And I said a few things I probably shouldn't have said, and it was, oh, you can't play because of the name. So then the next year it was Glasgow, and then it was rectified. Well, that's how we met, and it was great.
Yeah.
Great gig, you know.
But see, to me, that's one of the great things about Tony, and he was easy to knock, and Mark Smith would knock him all the time, but Tony didn't mind that. But what he's really brilliant at, well, he did have very highfalutin ideas about Manchester, which is great, but he's also cared about the kids like you when you were 16 or 17, even if he wasn't even particularly a massive fan of your music. He wanted to make sure you had a platform to make it, and I thought that was his single greatest strength. He put in the city on a Manchester, and he'd invite the poshest people in the music business there, and invite them to the maddest, and then make them meet the maddest kids from Salford in the bar at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, God, you know, he gave us a room in the Hacienda. He gave us the keys to that building at the side, and through John Drape, and said there's an account, Johnny Roadhouse, for 300 quid. I mean, can you imagine that? So we had the keys to the Hacienda. So coming out of the Hacienda, then going in the Hacienda upstairs, completely off it, and then getting even more off it, setting the alarms off, drinking all the drinks and everything. And then the next day, they just phone up and say, oh, it's all right, don't worry about it, you know what I mean? What time are you coming in to rehearse? Wait, you know, coming after 8. And absolutely dead great. And I think back now and I think, but you're right, you know, he gave us a set. He said, yeah, it's fine. And we were there for months. I remember having an argument with Andy Rourke, you know what I mean? Because he said, yeah, you know, you're only supposed to be in 2 days a week. I was like, listen, we're fucking Trigger Happy. We're in every day, all right, we're rehearsing. And I look back now and I kind of cringe a bit, but, you know, it was great. It was like one of my best periods, and that. I wrote some good stuff in there. And, you know, that was thanks to Tony for giving us that chance to do it. Because nobody else would have, do you know what I mean? And then I went from that into the fall, which was, you know, quite convenient.
To me, that sums up the spirit of whichever city we're talking about here, Manchester, Salford, Great Manchester, whatever it is. The idea that you may live on the 48th floor of a posh tower block, but you're still in the city with everyone else. There may be VIP areas in Manchester now, but not many. It's not like London. It's not like New York. You could probably still go in the city centre Manchester, and you probably bump into more people than you think you would off the top of your head. I mean, I do it every day. I go around town. There's always people I haven't seen. You know, whether they're millionaires or paupers, and they're all in the same pot, and that's what's great about this city, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great. It's not great for paupers, but it's great that everybody's on the same street.
And a lot of it's like banter, and I think a lot of my Mancunian mates go, well, you know, they're aware that when they're in Salford, it's like it's not Manchester and stuff. And maybe it just don't exist, but it kind of does. Like Odsal, you know, we you know, it's weird. You can just forget about where you live and just think, but it does. There is territorial things. It's like there's been a lot of shootings and that in Salford again and that. But I don't know whether I don't know if it's just highlighted more, you know. I don't think it's ever as bad as it was in the 90s. But it's rubbish when you know, you see so much press. Or we've had it with the festival, Paul will tell you, you know, and it's never happened in Odsal because there was always a shooting. And then the bands would say, you know, we're not playing. And people listening now will know there's a pub in Salford called the Winston, and Fraggle Rock is its name as well. And it's probably like your hardest pub in Blackpool, and it's open at 10 a.m. or it was. And we put it on in there one year, the Salford Music Festival, and it wasn't happy. We were in there loading the amps and all that. And like, what are you fucking doing? Like, you know, we don't have music in here. And I was like, listen, Salford Music Festival. And then we talked to them round and they're like, all right, mate, yeah, you seem good enough. You're from Salford, all right. And then it didn't get past the sound check, you know what I mean? And the bands were like, oh, we're not playing there, you know, you're joking. I've Googled it. And it never happened. And the landlord said, get your gear and fuck off, and like threw it out. But that's probably the only place it's not happened. But
it's great you tried. Yeah.
It's what?
It's great that you tried to make it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we give it a good go, and yeah, we give him his money back as well. I think in the end, that £200 donation. But Salford's it's on the change, and it's like we're always overshadowed, unfortunately. I don't like saying that, but we are, and I'm not a massive fan of Manchester International Festival. Like Salford Council used to give that like 300 grand or something one year. I remember being in a big meeting and thinking, God, we want like a couple of grand, but I'm sure, but now they've changed now. They're getting down with the people, which is a really great thing. So if anyone is listening from MIF, then congratulations.
Well, Tom McGrath runs it. He's much more connected to the city.
Yeah.
I mean, you should speak to him. He would. I think you should just propose some kind of Salford event. But it has to be something that fits in the idea of what the festival's about. So it wouldn't be like a music festival, but you could create something cultural that was a debut event that would be in Salford to underline Salford itself. I mean, there's ways of doing it.
It's like when I seen the GM streaming and that, I thought that's really good and everything. And then I thought, right, so where's Salford again? Why is Salford not represented? And it's like, Team 19, it's like, one club that's in Salford. And it's like, it's about a metre over the Manchester border. And it's like, that's not Salford. Same with, when you get past Oldfield Road, a lot of people think Salford was just on Chapel Street and like it's into Mill. And it's like, no. It starts there, and then you've got Broughton, and then you've got Kersal, and then you're all at Swinton, and it's right round and Wharton, and right up to Earlham.
That's the thing that makes Salford confusing, that the centre of Salford, Chapel Street, the old centre, is virtually in Manchester. So people can't, in their heads, who aren't from Salford, can't imagine where the middle of it is. Because it is like, in its own sense, it's 6 or 7 different towns stuck together, isn't it?
It is, and it's not unified. When it become a lot of areas lost the thing, and they didn't want to be like Swinton and Salford. I don't know how it is now, but we used to fight the rugby matches and stuff, and there was a lot of rivalry. You know what I mean? And the precinct and Odsal and all of that, and it was, it was like, I don't know if it's that bad.
That's now. Like everywhere. No, that Blackpool had every bit of Blackpool would fight, but then when Preston turned up, it all changed again. It's a British thing, that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think
Salford and Manchester arguing, then Liverpool turns up, and it's all everyone together. Then London turns up, and everyone's together.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, Paul will be having a nightmare now. But I think the social side of it all, and the inclusion in events like, going back to Myth again, and it's good to give out free tickets and stuff, but and I do think they are reaching out. They filmed in my mate's street the other day, the sing-along thing, and that's really good. And I thought, well, that's good, because as a creative myself, I have put in I tried to get a job as looking after bands, you know what I mean, and I got turned down, and I thought,
I think this is what you should be doing, Ed. You should be going to meet these people at Myth. You should be going to meet people at Andy Burnham. Not saying you're the big I am and you're the mayor of Salford music, but somebody works very hard in the Salford scene, somebody who's from Salford, somebody who in a way does represent a lot of us, Salford musically and culturally. You should make those meetings and take ideas to them, because I don't think they deliberately sit there and cut you out of the equation. It probably just doesn't occur to them. But somebody came in there and said, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? They may go, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, because I think, like, far too much of it is, you need degrees, or you need to have done this course, and you don't. And art and music is, like we said at the start, and creative stuff is you've just got to do it, And it's like
it came from people who didn't even know how good they were. I've interviewed thousands of bands, and it's always fascinating me when you interview people like Hooky. Well, Hooky's a fantastic example. Written some of the most sensitive, beautiful bass lines in the history of rock music. He has no fucking clue where they came from. He goes, I just playing the bass and it just appeared.
Yeah, well, he paid me a nice compliment.
He didn't go to art or college.
Should pay him a compliment, shouldn't I? But I won't. He's good in that. He's good that he's done this. He played with me and a few others a few years ago, part of the festival at Laureate, and it's really good. And he was making a point of saying, it's only because of the virus situation that we've managed to get all these acts. But it's not. It's helped. It's helped. But I'm sure there's loads of other people tried to do something. The word Salford, you know, and I've used my skills, and Paul Ashton's used his to pull people in. I mean, Paul's just been on the phone there, and I hope he was in tune. You know, pressing the piano with Sister Sledge, so making sure they were in the right key before they sang. I mean, fair play. So we've gone out of our way, me and Paul. It's not just because of the situation. You know, it's just like we've managed to get Graham Nash. We nearly got him years ago, and he's a Salford person.
Wow, see, we can argue about this.
I tried to get Liam Gallagher.
Graham Nash was born in Salford, but he grew up in Blackpool.
That's right, yeah. I mean, I tried to. So we wanted names. We wanted names because you need names.
Of course,
so
and it's great to celebrate that.
It's always been names to shed light on the bands you've never heard of.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get a bit of press. It's sad the way it works, but that's how it works.
I've got a connection to Graham Nash if you need to get to Graham Nash. Say
that again.
I've got a connection to Graham Nash if you need to get to Graham Nash.
Well, he's on, isn't he? He's on.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Mixing up. I've done so much stuff today, mixing everything up.
What kind of stuff have you been doing? I thought you were dead straight and clean.
No, writing, working.
Right. I'm on
10 hours non-stop. I don't even know where I am now. It makes you more stoned than getting stoned.
Yeah, well, it's like Paul's not stopped at all. But so there's no chance of getting you on acoustic guitar tomorrow then, is there?
Tell you what, I'll drop in and I'll play some bass. But it's not that entertaining. I'm not a solo act.
It doesn't. It's like making it. We had the Posh Tech a lot on. You know, they said, and I said, yeah, all right. And they got a video, and they had no intro. And I said, no, you have to say some words as well. You know what I mean? Can't just play the video. But they did. And they were all sat there last night watching it, and it was amazing, you know, and they're like buzzing. Like, Ucky's one of their heroes. And you know, thanks for introducing me to them, you know what I mean? Because they're really nice bunch of people and that.
Yeah, really
so
good.
I suppose we should wind this down for Paul. But and I don't know, it's just a chat, really, isn't it? A good chat. And Paul will edit. I don't know who swore more, me or you, but
just cut it. I'll have it for my YouTube channel, but you should put it on your site as well. Just share it.
So
it's
so who's doing the editing?
Well, I'm not.
For my YouTube channel, I'll edit. I'll just keep half an hour of it and put it up.
Yeah,
I think you should keep about 30, 35 minutes. Cut off the first 5 minutes, then get the next 30. And you got most of it.
Sorry, I'm just being straight now with both of you. I've got 8 videos to edit after midnight tonight, and I'm streaming again from just after lunchtime. I don't know if I can edit the length of this conversation.
Don't worry. Just send it to me. Just WeTransfer it.
Keep doing what you're doing and inspiring people. And, you know, you've helped a lot of famous people over. Because I was going to contact you and thought, fucking hell, John's had everyone on. There's no one you haven't in of apart from Neil Diamond and Bob Dylan. You've not had them. But you've pretty much had everyone, haven't you? Out of big bands, you know what I mean? And do you think... keep doing what you're doing and inspiring people. And, you know, you've helped a lot of famous people over. Because I was going to contact you and thought, fucking hell, John's had everyone on. There's no one you haven't in of apart from Neil Diamond and Bob Dylan. You've not had them. But you've pretty much had everyone, haven't you? Out of big bands, you know what I mean? And do you think that, right, just to end on this, do you think that it's because of this you've had access to it? You know what I mean? They've gone, you know, all right, yeah, I'm not doing that. So at first I thought, God, everybody's so desperate for oxygen because they're not doing the gigs. They're almost like killing themselves.
Well, there is an aspect to that. People are really bored. So when I interviewed Ian Rankin or Sleep for Monsters of the week, they both haven't spoken to another human being for 3 weeks. So they've just clapped them to talk to. But I think, you know, when you've been around a bit, you know a lot of people. So you don't have to go through the PRs. You just text them, don't you? And the same, you must know a lot of people, mustn't you?
Yeah, they never answer the phone. No, they started answering the phone now since you wrote good things about a fellow. Weird though how it works, isn't it? It's weird, and I think, well, I've not changed. I've always been the same. All right, but you know what I mean. You know me for long enough, and then it is that. Oh, you know, oh, maybe it's not. But it's nice that this year, you know, and we had to juggle. Well, Paul did to get Graham Nash, you know, because someone had a bit of a gripe and that. But fair play, that's all gone, and we managed to overcome them things. Because you can't let that stop you, you know. And I've encountered a lot of that in the business where people say, "Oh no, you don't want to work with him because of that." And I think, well, what have I ever done to you? You know what I mean? If all I've ever done is help you, or whatever. Or why don't you tell the other half of the story why we fell out in the first place? You know what I mean? And I think sometimes I think, God, I've done so much with Mark, and Mark loved me to death, you know, because of the way I work and the way I do things and everything. And I certainly sorted his life out and his band's life, you know what I mean? It was on its arse when I took over. And, you know, he wasn't even bookable, you know what I mean? And I met one guy, that story, and you know, he said he tried to shove a tape cassette up my nose, and I was like, and he said, no, mate, I'm telling you, he did. He said he actually, Mark E. Smith tried literally to force a tape cassette up my nose. And when I took over that, you know, it was a complete mess. And Mark was on the whiskey. And the first night, you know, he phoned me on a Friday, and I thought we were doing a tune together. And he said, no, he said, I've got a job for you. And at the time, I was on my own with the 5 kids. And I remember sat there with my head in my hands on the stairs and thinking, what do I do to earn and get some money? And Mark rang and he said, all right, it's Mark. No, we're doing a tune. He went, no, I've got a job for you, cop. Tour manager, I think you'd be good at it. 100 quid a day, is that all right? And I was like, yeah, sound. He went, right. This is on a Friday. He said, I've got a gig in London on Monday. I said, okay. And he said, yeah, I need a drummer. And we've got a tour that starts on Wednesday, all right. And I said, hang on a minute. I said, I'll be able to get you the drummer for Wednesday, but not for Monday. And then I did. I put Spencer Birtwistle in. And the first gig they did, Mark absolutely fell over backwards. And then I was like, that's it. There's no more whiskey for you on the rider. And he said, no. He said, all right. He said, but he wants us to whiskey. He said, the drums are so powerful and the band you brought in. And he changed then, you know.
Yeah.
And it was to the point I'm trying to make is you think like some people would give me the respect I deserve for what I did with Mark. Not that I go around going, do you know who I am? I don't.
No,
but it's enough. I think, wow, I've done more fucking gigs and stuff.
You did the work, but also you were probably tainted by his shadow because...
Yeah, I lost a few mates and he closed a few doors. But, you know, I remained loyal.
Man, but a brilliant creative mind, you know. Yeah. I'm always much rather watch him on stage and stand 2 feet next to him.
You know, we had a few laughs over the years, didn't we? Especially when I'd had a few drinks, and he's like, "Oh, get on the phone, send John Rob a message, send him a message," and that. You know, but thank God you see the funny side of it. And
I don't think he ever realised how much we were taking the piss out of him back again.
yeah. You know, but he's good banter. He liked, you know, in the end. You know what I mean? He did like that. He was like that video and that. You know, he's like, "Oh, John Rob this and that." Well, he used to do it with me. You know what I mean? Slag me, and I'd think. And then it's only after he died that he actually got me head round it. That it was just his way. You know what I mean? He didn't really, you know.
It's totally unimportant. Yeah. You don't write about bands to be their mate. You write about bands because you like their music and how, isn't it? It's not. You're not trying to get in with them so you can go and hang out with them.
Yeah. So what are you up to then now? What's the plans for your band?
Well, I've actually been doing, weirdly, because you can't have a band in this period, I've been songwriting for loads of different people. And I've done a track with my mate where he sends me Aphex Twin style beats and I put like dubby melodicas and bass on it. And then we sampled this Shaun Ryder interview where Shaun's talking about UFOs and sent it to Shaun, and he thinks it's the best thing ever. And it's coming out on July the 3rd. And Shaun wants us to do like this. He's doing his own solo album, but he wants to do this Salford Stories, and we just set it to music. So that's going to be pretty good fun.
Wow, that's good.
I've got Logic Pro. I've got it in my laptop at the beginning of the virus and learned how to use it. So I've got
you've been busy then?
Yeah, super busy. And I've been writing 2 books, finished them, and I'm doing that YouTube writing. I'm probably busier now than I've ever been, but I've earned very little money.
Yeah, well, you know, I've got a pub outside Everton's ground, 100 metres away, and just before they pulled the plug, it should have been, it's a Liverpool and Everton derby, you know. Mm-hmm. And the part was thinking, well, they couldn't have let that one go, you know, but I'm only joking, obviously. But yeah, lost a few quid and became unemployed overnight, and I bought a mobile bar at the end of January for $3,000. And we've almost, it's parked up on a field, a farm. But hopefully it'll be of use. So it was hard.
You'll be able to do probably outdoor drinks, you know.
Yeah. I mean, but it was hard, you know, adjusting, and getting my head around it. So this has really helped me. Now I'm totally.
Right, this is the future. So next year, when you do your festival, it'll be a live festival, but you'll also have all this digital side as well. So and you can sell the live casting tickets to people around the world. So if you've got Hooky and Graham Nash on, you can sell those as 10 quid tickets or whatever to people in America who want to see that, on top of the money you're already making out of having it as a physical thing. So in a way, in this period, we can learn how to actually make our events better and make more money so we can survive.
Yeah. Well, you've had to adapt.
Salford International Festival, you know.
Yeah, because, you know, I just thought, because I'm out of work and all of that, I just presumed all my kids, thank God, they've been all right with their jobs and stuff. And I'd have swapped that any day. But I've just presumed that everyone's out of work, but they've not been, and a lot of people who've been furloughed, it's been like buzzing, sun's out, getting all my wages, don't have to go to work.
Like a vibe in town. But you're a musician, we're never out of work because we're never actually in work.
Yeah, you know, so I'm glad it's not lasted long, and I'm back to my old self again, you know.
I think it's going to be another year of this, whatever it is, you know, and it's going to get slightly easier, but we're going to work out ways getting around it, you know.
Yeah, I think, you know, you just got to, you know, just be brave, haven't you, really, and be, well, obviously you got to be careful, but you know, at the same time, you can't take the advice.
No, we've got to be resourceful, look after each other.
I mean, I've stopped watching them interview things and that, the daily thing and that, because it's just like, I cannot trust this person. Everything that's coming out of that person's mouth, I cannot trust. And then the press have whipped it up. And you know, I was trying to promote this the other week when that big story about him going to the castle and all of that. And everybody wanted to kill him. It's like medieval times, the 12th century and that, you know what I mean? But online. And it's wrong. It's bullying, whether the guy's done wrong or not. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like, I mean,
he's a horrible little shit, though.
You know, like, oh yeah, he is. But like them videos you see. But maybe it's just because I was trying to promote, you know, and I was getting nowhere. All the traffic was coming this way, and it was just hatred. hatred, and then it has an effect on you, and then it triggers me anxiety. But you know, I don't know where.
It, you know, if you're
I was going to suggest we've got a thingy on tomorrow. Show me the way to Amarillo. We've got him, and I was going to say, you know, show me the way to Barnard Castle. You know, there's an instant hit, a fundraiser, isn't it, for the NHS?
Is he one of yours? Is he Salford? I know he's up from up here, isn't he?
I don't know. Can you help on that one, Paul? Or if you've not hung yourself, have you, Paul? Listen.
Telford.
Telford. But he's done us fortunes, which is brilliant. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a shame we couldn't get the other fella, the kid from Bolton, and that, you know. But it's funny saying like Janice Long, proper character. You know, that's what national TV should have had. Real, warm people instead of the people they left in. And what I have noticed is people who are under the radar, creatives, have come through and stuff, and they're the ones that have helped people with this. You know,
there is no national TV anymore, though. You know, national radio. You know, you bust a gut to get played on Six Music, but in the end, you could probably get more listeners by doing your festival. I mean, yeah, everybody's media now. When we were kids, these shows had 6 million listeners. They don't have those kind of listeners now. It's spread out all over the place. So you don't need to worry about being mainstream because there is no mainstream.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Well, you know what? We should quit. Well, this last half hour has probably been the best. It's took us a week. We haven't seen each other for ages, have we?
No, yonks, innit?
I've missed you. You know, and you still don't drink beer. When did you ever drink beer?
Yeah, 26 years ago.
And why did you stop?
I had an abscess on my tooth and I had to have the tablets, so I couldn't drink 3 days. But wait a minute, this is just, I was still going out all the time. It just felt the same. So I just kept on from there.
And how old are you now?
59.
Wow, incredible. Well, you look great and you sound great.
I'm always the oldest person.
You're a big inspiration, and I'm just trying to get that thing across about well-being because, you know, I didn't start music till I was 27, till I had the confidence. And I, you know, if I never did another thing again, I'm really grateful for what I've achieved and where I've been and played and all of that. And
I would say you've just started. I mean, I thought with that record, you came out with Othello, you came out of the shadow of the fall and made something that sounded very much like you and was your own thing, which wasn't like something that you discussed with Mark or was helping Mark with something. This is purely your thing. That was the strength of it, you know. Yeah.
Well, there's more to come, and hopefully we'll be able to get back over. And I need to sing on about 3 tracks. We've done it again in Berlin, and then it'll be finished. I don't know when, but I'm not really into this knocking stuff about, but we're going to have to over the internet.
Online, it's not actually much different from being in the studio. If you've got Logic Pro, you've virtually got Ding's studio in your laptop. Like, you haven't got Ding. That's a problem because Ding's the best editor and mixer I've ever worked with.
Yeah, well, we went in the other night, you know, and we recorded John De Silva's stuff there, and Ding's not seen anyone like for ages, you know what I mean? And he's got his studio, so he'll be suffering, and then he's got his bus tour vans that he rents out. They won't have done out, but Ding's always helped Salford Music Festival out. You know, all right, what do you need? And I'm like, right, Ding, and they go, right, all right. But he you know, properly helped us out again.
Complete setup there. Yeah,
because we couldn't get in the GM streaming place despite everything, all the powers that be and all that. And I'm like, powers that be? The same DJ was headlining there last Saturday. But you know, what, come in for an hour in the day just to record this, you know, and then they wouldn't have any of it. But we've got round it in the true resilient way and delivered, and that sets on tonight. So I can't wait for that.
I mean, I did something for that United We Stream. That's only because Shaw Ryder wanted me to do it.
It was great. I watched it, the interview. It was brilliant.
It's just completely Salford, completely himself, didn't give a fuck. And all these texts are coming through for the people running out, can you stop now? He's swearing too much. I was going, oh, no, fuck you. Because everybody
was brilliant.
It was probably the Saturday when everyone's really down. And because he was so funny, all Twitter was going, check this out, he's hilarious.
Yeah, well, it's great talking to you. Yeah, well, John, virtual handshake, they're all in at the moment.
Elbow.
Nice one. Take it easy, and I'll see you soon, John.
All right, see you then,
In a bit.